I hope it has been a fruitful week wherever you are around the world. My name remains Ashalo Lufemi, and once again, thank you for joining us on Nigeria Fans Forum. I'm so excited. Of course, we're already getting into the mood for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations right here. And like I said, I'm so excited. Of course, the 2026 World Cup qualifier will also be kicking off very soon. Now, don't forget, we've told you that we are gradually migrating from this channel to our new channel, Sports Africa. Please go there and subscribe. This Africa with a K. Please go there and subscribe now. Click on the notification button. Then you can get a video as soon as they drop, because very shortly we won't be posting our full content on Nigeria Fans Forum anymore because some unresolved issues with YouTube. Once again, I welcome you, Kado Mundari and James. They are here, and today, of course, we'll be taking you on this wonderful journey together. Guys, once again, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Femi. It's a pleasure being here.
Good morning, Femi.
I can see James in red. Of course, he said he's in solidarity with Manchester United ahead of the Manchester derby, but do not raise your hopes for United at the moment. Kyle might not like that. But let's get started in Ghana, because it seems there's trouble in paradise for Christine. And during the week, Dr. Koto Krako, of course, who recently won his re-election as the GFA president, said he has been a very disturbed servant. That was how he put it. He said he's been a very disturbed servant, considering the latest development with the Black Stars. He said he's not been happy. He's not been happy at all. Remember the 2-0 defeat to Mexico and the 4-0 thrashing by the US. And we've had a couple of ex-international, particularly John Pitzel and former coach Kwesi Appiah, calling for time to be given to Chris Hughton, but it doesn't look like anyone will be giving him that sort of opportunity to redeem himself. Kayode Okraku, if Okraku could come out to say that he's a very disturbed servant, that was what he used, the term he used. It seems there is something that's actually going on.
I don't know. I'm not going to go into his mind. But what I just think is, what is the alternative that Ghana had at the point Chris Hughton was appointed as coach? After Ado left, you had somebody who had been a part of the crew, so it was easy to have a seamless transition. If things have not worked out the way everybody wanted, it is not for a lack of trying. It is like Ghana is between, like they say in America, Ghana is between a rock and a hard place. There are no easy choices to make, because if you're going to bring in somebody else with 2-3 months to the AFCON, you have already prepared an excuse for that person in case they fail. It will just tell you, well, he just got in, he hasn't gotten to know the team, blah, 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 blah. So why don't you stick it out with this guy and see how far he's able to go? I will not press the panic button yet if I were the FA. And sometimes some of these things they have a negative way of rubbing off on the players and the team itself. When the FA president comes out to say stuff like, I am worried, I don't believe in this team. No, you could say all of this behind closed doors to the players and to the officials, but you don't come onto the media to say some of these things. In fact, when the team is drowning, you swim or sink with them. That's what a leader should do. You don't come out and put them to hang. That's where I have a problem with.
Okay, but I'm sure it must have been a response to the National Opera regarding the 4-0 trashing by the US. And of course, a lot of people have actually said that Aliou Cisse, the coach of the Teranga Lions of Senegal, took over the job in 2015 and he's still in charge. So the Senegalese have actually gave him time, and some persons are saying that Chris Hughton should also be given that time. But in Africa, I do not see any federation that will be willing to be patient with any coach as such. Okay, James, let's talk about Kwesi Appiah. Kwesi Appiah was talking in an interview. He's currently the coach of the Sudanese national team. And he said that indirectly talking to Chris Hughton, certainly, because he said he should not submit to interference in his job, because we've seen some ex-international calling for some players, Alfred Duncan, Wakasu, even Andrea Yu. No, a lot of Black Stars players are no longer in the team to be brought back. But the question appears is saying that do not submit to any interference games. But in the prevailing circumstances right now around Chris Sutton, do you see that happening at all?
If he's 100% in charge of the team, I call the shots. I don't think that should be an issue with him. But it's that one thing about football. Even in top countries, you get to hear coaches being that, what about this player? This player is doing so and so. Why is he not in your team? It's about trying to maybe in a way assist the coach, to maybe have a look in. But it now depends on him if he's going to, get those players who they've been kind of urging him to look into. But he won't go to the extent of now trying to force players on the coach. Just like what we were saying about Dede Ayew. Remember, we kept saying, even in the last qualifier they had, I think against Cape Verde, if I'm not mistaken, he was invited and he didn't get to play. Then I think there are subsequent games he was dropped, which means the coach saw that there was no point inviting him. So for me, I think it's everything boils down to the coach. There's nothing bad if they suggest players to you, but not to the extent of trying to force those players down your throat that no, you must use this. What if the player is not just like Dede Ayew? I don't think he is even engaged now. So it's not being called up is justified, So it shouldn't be a big or uproar. It shouldn't cause such this thing. The coach, as long as he's in charge and is giving the free hand to pick his players who are informed, who are going to add value to his team. I think he should be the one to decide who comes in and who doesn't.
But I think certainly Chris Sutton is currently under immense pressure at the moment, and my likely yield, I want to believe that my likely yield to some pressure. Okay, Kyle, let's go to Nigeria now, because during the week, a former Ayimba player, Mufonu Do, I remember he still holds that record for the number of goals scored in the MPFL. He was talking in an interview on Abu Assis podcast, and he talked about home-based players and foreign-based players when they are both invited to the national team. Remember, we know some of these issues that happens in the national team. Up till now, I'm not sure whether John Noble has received his money. You remember, he said, according to him, the foreign-based players were paid. He wasn't paid. He asked for his money. And since then, he hasn't received any invitation to the national team. But the founder is saying that foreign-based players look down on home-based players, because the home-based players, when they get to the national team camp, they beg the foreign-based players for money. He went as far as saying that, for instance, you earn 600,000 naira a month, and here is someone who earns about 30 million naira a month. Kyle, I'm sure you have experience, or you must have heard one or two things regarding this issue before.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie in what he said? That's true. This reminds me of an incident. Of course, I'm not going to mention names. In the Super Eagles camp in 2017, that was towards the World Cup qualifying series. They were going to play a match in Uyo. I was in Uyo. I was in one of the players' room. And in that room, there were two of them. There were two to a room. There was this guy, a foreign-based player, and one, an home-based player. And the room had two beds, and this side with the closet and everything, this other side has the closet and everything. So the foreign-based player had about 8 pairs of boots that he brought about 8 pairs of boots that he brought, and he lined up everything in the by the front of his closet like this.
That's intimidation.
The other guy, well, he wasn't doing it to intimidate anybody. If you feel intimidated, that is the problem. So the other guy was on the bed on his own side, and he saw that he knew I came to see the foreign-based player. So he now told me to help him appeal because the foreign-based player was on the phone. He now told me to help me beg him so that he could give him a pair of boots. And I was like, why don't you talk to him? You guys you are not only
roommates.
You are also roommates. You should be able to tell him. So at the end of the day, when he got off the phone, and I told him, "What are you doing with 8 pairs of boots?" And I said, "Well, he knows that he's not good. He's likely not going to take anyone back with him. That he's going to give it out." And I said, "If you're giving it out, give to your roommates." That's it. He didn't ask.
I like that style. I like that. Yeah. I like the way you approach it.
That was he said he didn't ask. I said, okay, now he's asking, or I'm asking on his behalf. So now I told him to, like, okay, he should check if they are the same size. He should pick whatever he wanted from the 8 pairs. So for me, it's natural, let's be honest with ourselves, that these guys get intimidated by the foreign-based players. 1, 2, the way we treat the foreign-based players, we do not treat the home-based players. Even media, the way the media will run after the foreign-based players, they do not run after the home-based players the same way. It wasn't until the superlative showing of Ezenwa against Cameroon in Uyo in the 4-0 defeat that people actually talked to him. And you know what? He also did Chakara. When he saw that the request for interview was too much, he had to tell somebody, I've been talking since morning. I'm not talking again. I was just towards the side and I was laughing. Now, see, superstar. You understand? The way we treat them, even in the media, the way the officials treat them, the way everybody does, it makes you have this inferiority complex, to be honest. 1, then 2, you look at the imbalance in what they like. This other foreign-based player that I told you has been in the national team for like 6-7 years now, and he told me that he has never spent a kobo out of his match bonus. Now, once he collects it, whether it's $5,000, it's $10,000, he shares it, he gives it out. And you are in the same room with somebody who your home match bonus is the answer to his own prayer. So that intimidation would naturally confirm me. So Udo has not said he has not lied. What he said is totally correct. That these players, everybody, a lot of things conspire against the home-based player. The media, the officials, even they themselves, because it's normal to have this, what do you call it, inferiority complex.
Okay, all right. James, let's talk about Enyimba yesterday, because I wasn't expecting any miracle, but just disappointed at the level of the defeat. Because prior to the game, Finidi George said they will be going to wrestle against the Bull. And unfortunately, they failed to beat the El Matador. I saw they in a post asking me if I was expecting Enyimba to win. James, 3-0. 3-0 in Morocco in the maiden edition of African Football League. And as far as I'm concerned, Nigerians are not happy. They're saying Enyimba. Someone even said that nature wouldn't even forgive Enyimba for what they did in the first leg, in which they used the chalk or something to write the number and the name of the player at the back of the jersey. But seriously speaking, now the financial implication is that Enyimba just threw away $700,000 in that game they lost to Wydad. James, how do you feel about the outcome of Enyimba in the mid edition of this competition?
I mean, I honestly speaking, I wasn't really pained, because it was something that we all expected. I mean, it's only somebody who doesn't follow football or who doesn't know the history of Nigerian club sides recently that we have this high expectation. And again, playing against Wydad Casablanca, one of the top sides in African football. Now, I wasn't surprised, even when I learned Wydad scored. I mean, like 5 minutes into the game, I said, well, expected 3-0. I wasn't shocked. I expected it. I mean, you played at home, you couldn't do anything. Coupled with the jersey controversy, then it got to the what's it called? Morocco late. They had to shift the game, because of certain circumstances, So for me, I think it just shows what we've been talking about Nigerian clubs when it comes to the continent. We've lost it. We've lost our way. We don't have any. We can't do anything on the continent, and nobody's even trying again. Gone are the days when, I think Kayode should bear me witness, in the 80s, the 90s. The Nigerian club size, you still see them in the finals of this club competition. If it's the Waffle Cup, the Champions League, when it was called the Champions Cup of Champions Cup or whatever. Then the Mandela Cup. I remember BCC Lion won the 1990 Cup Winners' Cup. In 1 year, got to the final in 88. They lost. Shooting Stars got to the final 84. Julius Berger got to the final of the Mandela Cup in, I think, 95 or 96. Shooting Stars won the CAF Cup. You know, before Imba now did what they did, then the last time the Nigerian club that got to the final was Atlanta 2010 Champions League. Since then, it has been downward. So this got to show you that it's like we are not ready. Nobody's even ready to do anything. We keep going down. Imba was just part of this this inaugural African Football League because of their two Champions League triumph 2000 and 2004. Because aside that, which other Nigerian team can you call now that can really they have pedigree again when it comes to the continent? Nobody's even consistent again. When they qualify, you know at some point they're going to crash out, and this thing has been going for over a decade now. So it's really appalling.
Let me quickly butt in. Like I said, I do not support the idea of this African Football League in the first place. And I do not support the idea of having a Nigerian, like James said, and I agree, the only Nigerian club that could have been invited, because this was an invitational, the only Nigerian club that could have been invited was Eyimba, but Eyimba were not ready for that competition. Femi, I have taken my time to see all of the 8 teams, and I tell you, Eyimba were probably the poorest of all 8. I saw Simba play against
Tanzania.
I saw Petro Atletico play against
Sundowns.
I saw Ali played against Zimba, if I'm not mistaken. Then Esperance played against TP Mazembe. Femi, these were games that each of these teams would have taken Eyimba to the cleaners. I know you guys will say there are no 2 games are the same, but no, there are some metrics that you can use to measure the quality of a team. The Eyimba I saw over 2 legs were so poor that even the Zimba team from Tanzania would have taken them to the cleaners. You saw they played the 2-2 at home. They went away and played 1-1. I mean, that's how Nigerian clubs used to play in the 90s that James referenced. They know that they are playing at a disadvantage already. So they go out and play. There's a way we say it back in the days that they play the players, they play the players, and they play the officials too. But when you see the way Eyimba set up, even at home,
they didn't even have a home. They played in New York.
Yes, it is a shame, Femi, and there's no cap on this. They were the worst team of all the 8 participating teams. They were the worst. Is there anybody, if we can try to be patriotic all we want and say they did this is why they lost, they got there late, or the one that they didn't get there late at home, what did they do?
Okay. God is as serious as I am right now because I'm just covering my disappointment with a smile. Because who was, of course, much later we'll look at Finidi George if it is time for him to go. And a lot of Nigerians are expecting, something great from Kanu Nwako, who is currently the chairman of the club, because Nigerians are expecting a lot, like I said. Okay, the fixtures for the semi-final of the games now, we have Mamelodi Sundowns versus Alali. Then we have Wydad Esperance, Alali So that is, we have Sundowns versus Alali, Wydad versus Esperance. That is going to be something to behold. But again, CAF has come out to say that the competition is not going to rival the CAF Champions League, which of course I know that a lot of people do not even think that is the reality. Guys, before we leave Nigeria, let's talk about the goalkeeper situation, because yesterday, former Super Eagles defender, there's a review that the NFF are talking about bringing Vincent Enyeama into the Super Eagles national team to help the goalkeepers in some way ahead of the AFCON. But Udeze was talking about the fact that Enyeama does not even have a coaching license. He has never been attached to any club, and that might be counterproductive. James, I'll start with you. What do you think? Very quickly.
Well, he's one of our greatest goalkeeper. The records are there for him. But Femi, from what I've seen for the current Super Eagles, Femi, well, let's want to deceive ourselves. We don't have quality goalkeepers. No matter who you bring to come and handle these guys, we've seen everybody. We've seen all of them. The coach is chopping and changing.
Even Adebayo Adeleye.
Femi, he has not proven anything. He has not proven anything.
But we can argue that he hasn't been given as much chance as Elzo has got.
Yeah, but for me, he has. I watched him. He's really good, but we can't just see it's just become the number one like that. But on the basis of who has been consistent, he should be given the opportunity. But for me, I'm not yet convinced. He needs a series of games. So bringing Enyeama, it won't be a bad idea, provided he has done the necessary things in terms of the coaching badges and the rest. He has the experience and everything, but whether he'll be able to now impact this knowledge on these guys that I'm looking at, especially sorry,
James, come on.
I'm not impressed, so let's just hope that because we've seen the likes of Ikeshurumu, Aloyagu, but the same of the same. So for me, Femi, we don't have quality goalkeepers for now in the Super Eagles team. Okay. So we just be praying God to, do something, a miracle. Because if this is what we are going to take to the major tournament, Femi, I think we just forget about it.
James, you're saying that. So
let me give you an assignment.
Okay.
There's a goalkeeper I want you to look out for at the AFCON. His name is Rowan Williams. He's the goalkeeper of Mamelodi Sundowns and captain of the national team of South Africa. Unfortunately, I didn't even know he was that old. He's 31 now. And for me, it was the difference between Sundowns and Petro Atletico over 2 legs. In the first leg, he stopped a penalty. He made several point-blank saves, and they were able to run away with a 2-0 victory. In the return leg in South Africa, after 2 minutes, Mamelodi got a red card. So they played with 10 men for over 90 minutes. It was Williams against Petro Atletico again. And, I was so impressed that I had to go check him out. I was like, where has this guy been all his life? He used to keep for, I think, Super Sports FC. Now he's with Mamelodi Sundowns, and he's a top goalkeeper, Femi. If that kind of a goalkeeper gets a goalkeeper,
the home-based goalkeeper,
if you get a goalkeeper trainer, we know that you can just smoothen the rough edges. But like James said, and that's very, very instructive, you cannot flog a dead horse. I mean, these guys do not even have the basic rudiments of goalkeeping. Let's not deceive ourselves.
Come on, you guys should be fair. So you are saying even if we bring in Gianluigi Buffon,
did you see?
There won't still be
why
difference.
I'm talking about Rowan Williams? I want you to go and see the highlights of his game against the 2 legs against Petro Atletico, and watch your Ojo Olorunleke against Wydad. You now see why all of you shouting, we have goalkeepers in the local league. If Eyimba's best is what Ojo, don't forget that even the Champions League, he made all of these elementary errors that led to that 4-3, or what was the result, the scandalous result that he got that knocked them out of the competition. So for me, it was not a one-off. It shows that somebody told me that maybe he has lost form, that he used to be a good goalkeeper. I said, well, used to be a good goalkeeper is not good enough. If you're going to keep a team like Eyimba, it cannot be good enough. You have to be on top of your game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay, guys.
Twice on Sunday.
We have to move on now. Okay. We heard that Sadio Mane has bought a major stake in a French club called Borges Foot 18, and in French club, yeah. And a lot of people are saying that why didn't you go to Senegal to buy one of the elite clubs in Senegal But I remember when Aliko Dangote wanted to buy Arsenal. People like James and our producer, they kicked against it. They were saying that they do not want a time when Arsenal will begin to produce cement and sugar. But wouldn't that have been a nice thing? We do not really have time to talk about that, but certainly we'll look at that. So Sadio Mane, you can say he's a club owner in France. But guys, let's talk about the DDRU. It will not be nice if we leave without talking about that, because Ashanti Kotoko are said to be interested in the DDRU. Kayode, we have just 3 minutes to go. Is this a letdown, or if this actually happens, or it just needed something right now, because we know that he will want to captain the Black Stars at the 2023 AFCON. But what do you think if the deal eventually pushed through?
Is it the question you have to ask is this: does he want to just use Ashanti Kotoko if the rumors are true? Does he just want to use the club as a stopgap or to get back to the national team, or he's really committed to play with the club? Because don't forget that this is somebody who has not been in Ghana football for a long time. He has been out. I'm not sure he even played any league games in Ghana before he left. I'm not sure. He never played club football in Ghana. So coming back now, we might see a reenactment of what we saw with Ahmed Musa when he said he came to Kano Pillars the other time, and he was choosing the games he was going to play. That I wasn't going to play any away games, and the home games, this was until he left about a couple of months later. So if this is the same situation, I would rather the club do not disrupt their flow, their chemistry by bringing him in. He's not that a good player, he's accomplished, but by bringing him in, one, you're going to disrupt the wage structure. Are you able to afford him? Number one, if you are able to afford him, if he lowers his wage, you are going to even destroy team chemistry. So for me, I would rather they leave him and let him just be. It's about time he should even pack up and go. You don't have to be in the national team forever and ever.
Okay, I want to believe that Dr. Prosper Ogun, of course, the coach of Ashanti Kotoko, is in charge of this. But James, very quickly, before we leave, in 1 minute, do you think Sadio Mane should have gone to Senegal to buy a club just in 30 seconds instead of obtaining the one in France?
You know, I must go to Senegal. I mean, he's a businessman, and if he feels this French club is going to give him the returns that he expects, I mean, buying in an African club, you know that what you are going in, there's no guarantee that you will make your money back because of the way we do things, especially in the sub-Saharan African. So if the French club is going to give him that, what he's looking for, I mean, he has been doing enough for his people back home in Senegal. So it's not until he purchases a club before they now say, okay, he has done the ultimate. He can throw his money wherever he wishes. If that's where he feels he's going to get his returns and get things right for him, well and good for him.
Okay, quickly, let me say this, Femi. I think Sadio Mane stands to even benefit Senegalese football more by buying that French club than going back to Senegal to buy. Because what he is going to do, I'm not in his mind, I'm just saying it. What that club will do is serve as an outlet for Senegalese talent to come to Europe.
Exactly.
So it's better to buy that club and bring Senegalese players, introduce them to European football through that club in Europe than going to buy a club back home and now looking for where to take players to. So for me, we are not going to teach him how to spend his money, but I think he has done the best looking at the long-term implication of buying that club.
Okay. Sadly, we do not have time. We wanted to look at the great job that Afram Grant is doing with the Zambian football, but we do not get that. Certainly next week, God's willing, we will look at the rise of football in Zambia, because they are doing massively well in that part of Africa. And of course, they'll be playing at the AFCON. So it will give all of us the opportunity to actually see what the former Black Stars coach has been able to do. Guys, thank you for your incisive analysis on the show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Femi. See you next time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, to our fans around the world, we appreciate you for sticking with Nigeria Super Fans. Please don't forget, go to Sport Africa, Africa with a K, the sport without the S. So please go subscribe to that YouTube channel. Very shortly, like we've told you, we will be posting our full content on that platform. We are gradually migrating from this platform to that platform, bringing you unparalleled content regarding the 2023 Africa World Cup qualifier, I meant to say, and of course the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations is already upon us. So we're going to be giving you content like you've never seen before, such that you won't see in the mainstream media. So that is why you need to go to that channel, Sport Africa, to subscribe before we are fully migrate. We'll see you all on Monday by God's grace. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye for now.